open to the book of 1 Samuel chapter 22, and we'll begin reading at verse 1. David left Gath and escaped to the cave of Adullam. When his brothers and his father's household heard about it, they went down to him there. All those who were in distress or in debt or discontented gathered around him, and he became their commander. About 400 men were with him. Well, the first thing we're going to talk about today is hiring the right person for the job. But I'm here to tell you this morning, and we're going to see how David did this, you don't hire for a position, you hire for potential. David was starting a rebellion against the king, but the people who came to David knew that he was a dead man. And by aligning themselves with David, they also became dead men. What does that mean? They were 100% committed to David's vision. They had potential. And David became their commander, and he trained them. And they learned how to fight, and they learned how to sleep out in the open, and they learned how to march great distances, and they learned how to be hungry and to go without. David didn't hire an army. David attracted men who had the same vision as him, and he created an army out of the potential that God gave him. The second thing that we want to see, and this is the story of David and Goliath. We don't often realize how impossible that task was. We don't realize how big Goliath was and how small David was. So he had some experience with his sling and his stones, but nothing like facing Goliath. But it wasn't just a physical battle. Remember, this was a spiritual battle as well. David didn't look at how tall Goliath was, but he remembered how he defeated the wild animals who came to steal his sheep, and he put his trust in the Lord. And this is what David said to Goliath: "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and I'll strike you down and cut off your head. This very day I will give the carcasses of the Philistine army to the birds and the wild animals, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel. All those gathered here will know that it is not by sword nor by spear that the Lord saves, for the battle is the Lord's, and he will give all of you into our hands." It may not be a spiritual battle. You may not have creditors coming to you and blaspheming your God. It may just be a very, very difficult time. But I want to tell you this: with God, nothing is impossible. The third lesson is to have good friends. David was actually brought into the king's palace to minister to Saul when he had evil spirit come upon him and he had fits. As much as he was a part of the king's household, and the king started trying to kill him, it says that his best friend was the king's son named Jonathan. And in 1 Samuel chapter 20, we read this: "After the boy had gone, David got up from the south side of the stone and bowed down before Jonathan 3 times with his face to the ground. Then they kissed each other and wept together, but David wept the most. Jonathan said to David, 'Go in peace. For we have sworn friendship with each other in the name of the Lord, saying, the Lord is witness between you and me, and between your descendants and my descendants forever. Then David left, and Jonathan went back to the town. But is there someone that you can cry with? Is there someone that you can share your heart with? And just like David had Jonathan in those days where the king was trying to kill him, and they could meet, and they could hug, and they could embrace, and they could weep, because they knew that something was going to change, but their friendship would last forever. This world is hard. You need a friend. Find someone that you can love and that will love you.